ಲೈವ್ ಪೋರ್ತಕ್ಕೆ 5 ನಿಮಿಷ. Well, I think we are live.
Good evening, Raj.
Good evening.
And by the way, wake me up.
Yeah. Yeah. So see, this is the problem. No, who will wake me up, man?
Okay. Anyway,
So
welcome to Bits and Banter. I'll do the honors on behalf of Raj, who is pretty sleepy after watching all the cricket all through this afternoon and evening. And I mean, we all went in with a lot of hopes and with a lot of energy after the highs of Australia. It was kind of deflated in the sense, not in terms of performance. Joe Root's century was terrific. In terms of cricket, it was certainly entertaining. Sivli's door innings was interesting, everything. It is just that the pitch, which didn't offer anything for the Indian bowlers, kind of deflated everything. Isn't it, Raj? It's all over to you. Now that you're slightly awake, it's up to you.
So I was saying, before me and you going to sleep, the pitch has been asleep from the morning, man. So
I'll just allow me to say one line. This is what happens when you let a Tirupur rug maker to make a cricket pitch. He'll make a rug that will put you all to sleep.
Oh, I mean, I didn't know about that. So good information we have shared, I think, with the viewers. So so I mean, as I have said in the headline, in the abstract of this post, I think Virat Kohli should just walk up to Joe Root and say, "Show some intent, man. What nonsense." So
amazing. I mean,
nothing to take away from him. He see, the ball was doing nothing. The pitch was doing nothing. So and you have ironically, for me, that is a surprising thing, because either they misread the pitch very badly to actually include 3 finger spinners, or they know something about the day 4-5 pitch which we don't know. So I think that's all we can say. So
but I would want you to talk of Joe Root's innings, Raj, because apparently this is his 7th consecutive 50+ score in India. So the man has been in an amazing run of form. Of course, he has had 2 centuries, back-to-back centuries in Sri Lanka. Now this 3rd century, 3 centuries on the trot, and his performance in India is amazing. And by the way, this is his 100th Test match. So he has covered almost every base that is possible. So what do you think of his innings?
Yeah, I mean, forget about what I think of his innings. I want to know what IPL franchises think of his innings, because a guy who can reel off 550s in matches in India, why is he not in the IPL? I have no idea.
7, not just by 7.
7. Yeah. So I have no idea. But having said that, I think he's I mean, I used to keep having this discussion with our colleague Gautam. Gautam somehow used to feel that he used to put Joe Root at number 4 in the pantheon of
modern day greats.
So I always used to find his batting a treat to watch. I mean, he used to somehow remind me of those silken touches that you used to get from players like Zahir Abbas and all from a different era. I used to find him interesting. So I used to get frustrated when he used to get out in pretty stupid manner. I mean, pretty weird manner. So he always attracted. He's always an attractive batsman. It's just that seems to have time on his hands. He's sort of silken with his wrists. He has the game. I mean, he has a game which an Indian batsman should be proud of. I'll put it that way.
That's well put.
Yeah.
And I mean, modern cricket should be happy that it has 4 batsmen who can walk into the pantheon of all-time greats: Virat Kohli, Steve Smith, Kane Williamson, and Joe Root.
And so, all 4 are different. They are not the same breed.
But all 4 are amazingly consistent and amazingly great for their respective teams.
Yes.
And a word or two about Dom Sibley, who was in a boycottian way, but he did the job that was required of him, because England needed to somebody to stay up, make those, I mean, so that the wickets didn't fall off in a half, which is usually traditionally England's weakness in India. That because Sibley he has only this nip and tuck, especially just on the leg side. He's very minimalist kind of a batsman, but he has a very good focus. I mean, he had a very average, except for the last innings in Sri Lanka. He had a very poor outing in Sri Lanka. But from there to come here and do so well, though he got out in the last hour of the day, that shows his mental caliber also, isn't it, right?
Definitely. I mean, for me, the thing is that See, I have not seen too much of Dominic Sibley, so I have not really watched him play. Whatever little I saw today, like you said, he's very limited. But then so was Ravi Shastri, right?
Okay. Exactly.
Ravi Shastri would do exactly this.
Exactly.
So I'm sure Ravi Shastri would be gung ho about the Gaib, and I don't know what he's going to tell the bowlers.
Except that Ravi Shastri can play the shots down the ground. This guy doesn't seem to show those kind of variety.
I think he was under orders probably, because he, like you said, I mean,
generally
couple more wickets and then things would have been. Although England has a long batting lineup, I mean, you sort of. I mean, if you look at it carefully, Jack Leach has got 90 odd runs in an innings. I mean, Anderson, I think he's fancying himself as a batsman.
Batsman these days. Yeah.
These days, just as Glenn McGrath did in his towards the end of his career.
Latter part of
part of his career. Yeah, and then I mean, so Ben Stokes obviously comes in next, I think.
Pope
and
is
then
there.
Hope is there. Butler is there. So you have
Butler, Pope. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, except Lawrence. Incidentally, number 3 batsmen. 3 test matches are happening. One in Bangladesh, one in Pakistan, and one here. And in all the matches, the number 3 batsman has. I mean, this is the trivia that I picked up from Twitter. All 3 number 3 batsmen scored ducks today.
Okay. So maybe the number 3 batsman should come after one more. Right?
They should have done today. I mean, today is not. It's not a auspicious day for number 3.
Number 3, yeah. But then I think on a bigger note, I want to ask you. So I mean, did we go with the right team? Forget the batsman, the bowling.
Yeah, exactly. You're right about the batsman getting themselves picked. That's different. I mean, the real choice is whether we should have gone in with Kuldeep or as we have done with Shahbaz Nadeem. And it was a bit of a surprise, as we were discussing in the morning in our WhatsApp chat. Shahbaz, I was surprised that he was part of this squad. I never knew that he was traveling with the team, because that in itself was a bit of a surprise for me.
So all I can say is the Indian team probably looked at my tweet yesterday, where I talked about left arm spinners suddenly taking wickets. So they decided that they wanted a left arm spinner. They had another one sitting inside.
I don't know. I mean, just 2 years back, Ravi Shastri proudly proclaimed that Kuldeep is the number 1 spin bowler, not just the left arm, number 1 spin bowler of India. For him to not being picked, despite so many top players getting injured and despite there being a slot, this is a bit of a letdown. I mean, probably I really don't know how he has been bowling in the nets. I mean, I would generally give the benefit of the doubt to the team think tank in this case, because if he had been bowling anywhere close to his best, they would have certainly included him over Shahbaz Nadeem.
So let me ask you another question. Spin we figured out. Spin, I say, for me the thing was that you have 3 finger spinners. They are all doing the same thing with the ball. So and when like I said, are they? Let us just go take one step back. Bala, you mentioned just before we started the show that England had scored in excess of 400 runs the last time, and then India scored 700, and India still bet them.
Yeah, by an innings. Yeah,
by an innings.
Right. The last time when we played in Chennai.
So history can repeat. Lightning can strike twice at the same place. All of that can happen. Keeping that aside, I'm just wondering that, I mean, even from the bowling point of view, Ishant Sharma is making a comeback. What was your impression about Ishant?
I thought he bowled, though the wickets column don't reflect the kind of effort that he put. He was pretty impressive. Though, I mean, obviously on this pitch, he could not have been nippy and the ball got softer. But he was there and thereabouts. He was pretty impressive because he was consistently beating the bat, though exactly not getting the edge. There was one couple of edges which fell short of the slips, but he was kind of impressive, especially for a person who is making a comeback. The only bowler who was disappointing to me was Shahbaz Nadeem, and to a lesser extent, Washington Sundar. Because
I'll give you my point. So, what Ishant Sharma did, don't you think Siraj could have done also?
I mean, that's a moot point. Yeah, you could have. But
so Siraj has done. See, if you look at in the past 1-2 years or 3 years of Siraj's career, he has bowled only on Indian pitches, and he has taken bagfuls full of wickets.
As we keep talking,
in the Ranji Trophy. Ishant Sharma hasn't really done well. So, do you really I mean, is this Indian team or is the think tank trying to say that if you are out, when you are injured and you are back, even if a person has performed very well, that person needs to sit out? To me, that is a little weird because
as long as there is a certain amount of consistency in this policy, I'm okay with this, because you have to back your senior players who have performed well in the past. So you have to
so you need to look at the past, no, Bala? What has
yeah,
he done in the past? I mean, in the recent past.
In the last matches, the last match he played, Ishant was pretty impressive. The only problem is I can't often remember the last match he played, but
It was in New Zealand, right?
Yeah, New Zealand. He was kind of okay. Okay.
New Zealand, he didn't get a clutch full of wickets. He was not as impressive.
None of the bowlers was impressive.
See, my point is that no, because you are coming off a euphoric high where every bowler picked up wickets in alien conditions. So my point is that, see, there is something which is not. I mean, it doesn't connect. I mean, I have no problems. For all you know, Ishant Sharma might pick up 4 wickets tomorrow morning. So it's perfectly, yeah. Let us hope. I'm just being a little. Maybe I'm being little.
I mean, you have a point. I see. Just that I have a different. But your point is valid, and there is a ground to make that kind of an argument. So certainly, especially, I mean, as much as we can make a case for Kuldeep, we can also make a case for Siraj. It's just that the think tank, and I seem to the think tank had a different view, and I kind of understand that. I mean, I understand where the decision came from.
See, now look at it this way, because England has put the pressure on India even before the game started. Whatever you say, you still need to get 80 wickets in this series.
True.
Right, in this series, otherwise you are not going nowhere. So if you don't get at least 40 wickets, you're not even going to Lords. Right, there are certain basic mathematics that we need to do here.
But I was kind of okay with when Kohli said, let's not talk about what
that's all fine.
It's fine. We'll take one step at a time.
I mean, that is all fine. That is all what they are supposed to say. They are saying what they are supposed to say.
With this.
Fine. No, that's what I'm saying. It's fine. But then if you're telling me, if you're telling me,
should do.
So my point is, if you're telling me that it is not in your mind, you will be superhuman, honestly. So
no, let's not get there. It's certainly there in mind, but we have to finish these steps before
today I was wondering. See, today I was wondering which is what I said. I mean, on day one, I mean, this is like you said, it is a carpet rolled out there. So on day one, if this is what you're getting, and I bet you will find a different scenario when Ben Stokes bowls on this, and when this guy bowls Archer bowls on this, because that is what Siraj brings. Siraj, see, for some reason, Ishant Sharma is not bowling 135, 140 nowadays. He's bowling less, and he is not hitting the deck. He is trying to pitch it up. Both were not very effective on this pitch, is what I'm saying. This is still a hit the deck, fend it off type of pitch. It can still generate some bounce. It can still do something, is what I feel. I think that is where India is, because you look at Bumrah bowling. Bumrah's ball delivery is getting bounce.
But both the wickets were pitched up because both were.
You get that wicket after you pitch up. You bounce, right? When a chap is expecting you to bounce and you don't pitch it, you don't
pin him on his back foot.
You pin him on his back foot. That's when you get those wickets. So Bumrah has done that. From the other end, I think Ishant hasn't done. So Ishant, for me, so his bowling analysis is fabulous. If you look at his bowling analysis, 15 overs, 3 maidens, 27 runs, no wicket, no complaints. But is that what his role is? At least in my mind, it is not. He's a striker.
I'll not be all that critical.
I won't be harsh. Even I won't be harsh, because like I said, tomorrow morning he might pick up a clutch full of wickets. I'm hoping, because you will get the new ball. You can still pick up a clutch full of wickets tomorrow morning. But then, so at least I think in the thinking, I think there is something which probably didn't work for them. It happens. It really happens.
It's okay, but in another sense, I mean, it's a weird way of looking at things. But I'll say this kind of a deflation came pretty early in the series. So we are kind of now we can be much more realistic, and our approach will be much more positive. Is what I believe, because the first day, if we had a better day, when I say better day in terms of wickets, we would still think the high of Australia would still continue. Now that things are on an even keel, we'll play better to our potential.
Yeah. So
I mean, I
hopefully,
know that's a
hopefully-
weird way of looking,
yeah.
because
So
I'm basically
continuing-
catching at straws, man.
yeah, continuing with that logic, hopefully we should then lose this match and then win the other 3.
I'm not ready for that.
Anyway, I think so tomorrow morning, what is on the table? I think very simple. I think they need to get at least 2 or 3 wickets in the first session. Otherwise, you are on a leather hunt.
Exactly.
Because so I mean, see, my point is simple. You can get to 400. India has the batting potential to score 700. History can repeat. Lightning can strike twice at the same place. All of that can happen. But I think from a strategy point of view, I think today was underwhelming from a strategy point of view, because England played what it wanted to do. I don't think India did anything in any of the sessions to sort of
Upset
their rhythm. That's all I'll say.
Exactly. But now that Root has stamped his authority in this match, it is now the turn of Kohli, both the captain as well as the batsman. He has to come up with better strategy, and when it comes to batting, he has to really score a daddy 100.
Yeah, I'd say this is more like a granddaddy 100.
Yeah, daddy. Now that he's a dad, he has to come with a daddy 100.
No, which is why I said he's already see, if he hits 100, he'll score a daddy 100. He's a daddy and he's got 100. So
we are making daddy jokes, man.
PJs now. So I think we should stop.
Stop that. Yeah.
So we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'm now wide awake. Thanks to Bala. I hope the pitch also is wide awake tomorrow morning. So
Sure.
on that note, we'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.